Welcome back to Senior Truth, the show dedicated to shedding light on the insidious scams targeting our elders and celebrating the incredible strength and ingenuity of those who stand up and fight back. Today we delve into a story of profound betrayal, but also of extraordinary resilience and triumph.
This is the saga of Eleanor Vance, a woman whose heart, yearning for connection, was preyed upon by a cunning online predator. It's a story that begins with loneliness, delves into despair, but ultimately blossoms into a powerful testament to the human spirit.
Eleanor, at 74, lived in a quiet, tree-lined neighborhood in Springfield. 5 years had passed since she lost her beloved husband, George, and while she cherished her memories, the silence in their once bustling home had grown louder with each passing year. Her children, both living out of state, frequently called, urging her to find new hobbies, new connections. It was her daughter Sarah who gently suggested trying an online dating site, focusing on companionship.
Hesitant but hopeful, Eleanor created a profile. She listed her love for gardening, classic literature, and her treasured collection of antique teacups. She wasn't seeking a grand romance, just a kind soul to share a laugh with, perhaps a quiet dinner, or even a walk in the park. And then he messaged her.
His name was David, according to his profile. He claimed to be a charming, sophisticated widower, an engineer working on a long-term project in a remote part of Asia. His profile picture showed a distinguished-looking man with kind eyes and a gentle smile. His initial messages were eloquent, thoughtful, and surprisingly personal. He seemed to genuinely read her profile, commenting on her love for Agatha Christie and her rose garden.
Their conversations quickly blossomed. They moved from the dating site to email, then to long, rambling phone calls that stretched late into the night. David spoke of his late wife with tenderness, sharing stories that resonated deeply with Eleanor's own experiences of grief. He was attentive, endlessly complimentary, and seemed to understand her on a level no one had since George. He'd say things like, "My dearest Eleanor, you've brought a sunrise into a life I thought would forever be twilight."
He painted a vivid picture of his life, his work, and most importantly, a future with her. He talked about visiting her in Springfield, meeting her children, taking her on trips she'd always dreamed of. He even sent a lavish bouquet of her favorite roses to her doorstep, cementing his authenticity in her mind. He was perfect, almost too perfect.
Eleanor was falling in love, a feeling she thought she'd never experience again. She confided in David about everything, her small anxieties, her cherished memories, her financial security built on years of careful saving, and George's pension. David listened, offering comforting words, always reinforcing their bond. He suddenly discouraged her from discussing their relationship details with friends, explaining it was their special secret, something too precious to share with the world just yet. He'd often reiterate, "Our love is a fortress, my darling, built on trust and privacy."
Then the first crack appeared in David's perfect facade. His lucrative contract overseas, the one that kept him from her, suddenly ran into a critical financial obstacle. A crucial payment was delayed, his bank accounts frozen due to international regulations. He needed a bridge loan, just a small amount to clear the red tape and release his substantial funds. He swore on his children's lives he'd repay her within days, with interest. "True love means trust, darling. You wouldn't abandon me now, would you?" He pleaded, his voice laced with manufactured distress.
Eleanor's gut screamed caution. She'd always been prudent with money, but her heart, so deeply invested, so desperate for this connection, overruled her instincts. She rationalized it. He was in trouble, and she loved him. She transferred a significant sum from her emergency fund. The relief in David's voice was palpable, and he promised to be on the next flight home.
But he never arrived. Instead, another crisis emerged. A corrupt official demanded a bribe, then a medical emergency for a distant relative, then travel documents held hostage. Each request came with increasing urgency, greater sums, and intense emotional blackmail. David's messages became more frantic, more guilt-ridden. "My life is in your hands, Eleanor," he'd type. "I have no one else to turn to." Eleanor's world began to shrink.
Her savings, once a comfortable cushion, were rapidly depleting. She found herself making excuses to her children about why she couldn't visit, why she was pulling back from her usual activities. Her beloved bridge club gatherings felt like an interrogation. She stopped attending. The vibrant woman who tended a prize-winning rose garden began to neglect it.
Her best friend, Sarah, a sharp and observant retired teacher, noticed the change. Eleanor seemed distracted, distant, often excusing herself to take hushed phone calls. She tried to gently probe, but Eleanor, under David's subtle manipulation, became defensive, secretive. She was isolated, caught in a web of deceit and her own escalating fear.
The final straw came one Tuesday afternoon. David, in a tearful voice message, claimed he was gravely ill, needing urgent, expensive surgery that his frozen funds couldn't cover. He needed her life savings, every last penny. Eleanor sat staring at her computer screen, the words blurring through her tears. The shame, the crushing realization of what she had done, washed over her like a tidal wave. She had drained her retirement account, neglected her life, all for a phantom. The man she loved was a lie, a cruel, calculating illusion.
For days, Eleanor existed in a fog of despair and humiliation. She couldn't eat, she couldn't sleep. The thought of admitting her folly to her children, to Sarah, was unbearable. She felt foolish, naive, utterly broken. But then, as she stared blankly at her wedding photo with George, a quiet whisper seemed to reach her. It was a quote he often said, a reflection of his own tenacious spirit. "The only way to lose is to give up, Ellie. We seniors, we've got grit. We've weathered storms you youngsters can't even imagine."
That word grit resonated deep within her. The shame was still there, but beneath it a spark of anger, a flicker of defiance, began to ignite. She had been wronged, but she was not broken. Eleanor took a deep breath, picked up the phone, and with a trembling but resolute hand, dialed Sarah's number.
Sarah arrived within minutes. There were tears, yes, but no judgment, only fierce support. Sarah listened patiently as Eleanor, voice cracking with emotion, recounted every agonizing detail. Then she took charge. Together, they contacted the local police department. The officer, empathetic and professional, explained the difficulties in recovering funds from international scammers, but emphasized the importance of reporting.
Next, they reached out to a local senior advocacy group Eleanor had seen advertised at her community center. This was a turning point. The group provided not only legal guidance on what steps to take with her bank and credit agencies, but also crucial emotional support. They connected Eleanor with a support group for romance scam survivors. For the first time, Eleanor didn't feel alone or foolish. She felt understood and, surprisingly, empowered.
Inspired by the stories of others who had fought back, Eleanor decided she wouldn't just be a victim. She meticulously compiled every piece of evidence she had, screenshots of their conversations, email printouts, phone records, and every single wire transfer receipt. It was painful revisiting the digital breadcrumbs of her heartbreak, but she did it with grim determination.
The senior advocacy group saw Eleanor's courage and invited her to share her story, anonymously at first, at local community events. Her account resonated deeply with audiences, serving as a powerful warning. She helped identify common scammer tactics, the rapid profession of love, the insistence on moving off the dating site quickly, the sudden crisis, the requests for secrecy, and the increasing financial demands.
While retrieving all her lost money proved an immense challenge, a stark reality for many scam victims, Eleanor did manage to recover a small portion through diligent work with her bank and the authorities. But more importantly, she reclaimed something far more valuable: her dignity, her sense of purpose, and her profound connection to her community.
Eleanor Vance transformed her pain into power. She became a tireless advocate, speaking at senior centers, community forums, and even local news outlets. Her voice, once hushed with shame, now rang with clarity and conviction. She taught others how to spot the red flags, how to verify identities, and most importantly, how to talk openly about suspicious online interactions without fear of judgment.
Eleanor didn't just survive, she thrived. She found new companionship in her advocacy work, building genuine, supportive friendships. Her rose garden, once neglected, bloomed brighter than ever, a symbol of her own renewed spirit. She proved that even after the deepest betrayal, the human heart can heal, and the human spirit can rise stronger than ever.
Eleanor's story is a powerful reminder that while these online predators cast a wide net, they don't always win. With courage, community support, and a refusal to give up, our seniors can and do